Hey guys, exciting news. World of Beer just announced the finalists. Now, even though we were out of the running after the semifinal round, I kind of been anxious to see who actually made it onto the finals. Now, I kind of went through the list here and noticed that there was a couple people from the semifinals that we were at in St. Paul, Minnesota that got on this list, and props to them. They made it, we did not. So I'm going to go through the list here, kind of see what some of these videos are about. From the looks of this, it looks like they traveled to a brewery in their area. I'm assuming World of Beer assigned them a brewery to go to make one final video to kind of narrow it down to the final three. Now, some of these videos are better than the others, and some of them are not so good at all. So I'm going to kind of go through, critique these guys' videos just a little bit, and see what their story is about here. So first on the list, we got Alexa. There's a little tagline for each one of these candidates here. It says, "Beer is a lens for culture." So I'm going to click this one. Each one of these stories, they got a little summary of what they did. So she says, "Visiting local breweries is the best way to get acquainted with any city, even your own. It's a beautiful day in Chicago and everyone is out watching baseball. But what exactly can beer teach us about baseball in the Windy City? Beguile Brewing pays tribute to a great former Cub Hall of Famer, Hyzen Shirley Culler, I think it is, with its refreshing Kolsch-style beer, Kiki Color Kolsch. Light in body, pale gold in color, refreshing in taste. Pairs well with traditional German dishes, outdoor patios, and the sun. So grab yourself a Kiki Color at Beguile before heading to the next Cub game." So now that's kind of the little summary there. I'm going to watch the video here and kind of give my input on it. So that cracking
What's
beer
up, guys?
sound, that
Alexa
was
Katz
used
here.
on
My favorite part of travel
somebody
is
else's
hitting up
video
local
in the
breweries as a
past.
lens for learning the culture of a city. So today I'm stopping by one of my favorite spots in Chicago, Beguile Brewing, to chat with some of the guys about the perfect sunny
Chicago's
day
pretty
beer, the
close
Kai
to
Kyler
us.
Kolsch, and get an
That's kinda
insider's
cool.
view into Chicago's heart and soul, the Cubs.
Hi, I'm John Carroll. I'm one of the brewers here at Beguile Brewing
Can
Company.
you tell us a little bit about what we're
So
doing
right off the bat,
So this
the
is
interview
the
audio,
Kai
I can
Kyler
hear it in my
Kolsch
headphones. It's
Breweries
only on the
Kyle
left
Avenue,
side.
named after
So they used
former
a
Chicago Cub. The reason he was called Kai Kai,
microphone on
nickname,
only the left
he had
channel.
a stutter and wasn't able to say his name.
My uncle was never married.
And now
when I
the
got to
audio
his
switched to the
apartment, he
right,
had a
which is kind of
signed
weird.
Picture of him.
The story that I heard was that that's what they called him because he had a stutter and couldn't pronounce his last name.
I always heard it as Kiki Kyler.
I do know he hit two.
So this video looks like it was kind of thrown together rather quickly. I'm not a big fan of like quick thrown together type
Can you tell me a
videos.
little bit about the recipe and how you guys came about it? What was kind of the development process?
True Kolsch is going to be between 60 and 80% Pilsner malt and the rest wheat with native German hops, so what are called the noble hops that have been used for hundreds of years. And then a special yeast strain from Koln right on the banks of the Rhine River.
Kai Kyler, what does that mean to you? What's the significance?
I was born
Now
in
they're
Michigan.
sitting down. That's kind of weird.
He was born in Michigan. He played for the Chicago Cubs, the city I live in, and he also played for the Pittsburgh Pirates, where Liz, our head brewer, is from. Actually, the road that goes into the town where I was born is named after him.
What's a perfect beer for a day like today, 80 degrees in April?
This
Cool
one right
shot.
here.
Yeah?
Kolsch, yeah. Cheers.
Shaking though. So I guess my input on that, I should say,
What's
is
the obsession with like the Argyle thing?
outtakes. Yeah, not so well put together. And I'm a kind of an avid photographer and videographer, so when I see shots that look subpar, I gotta say something about it, because this looks like they just set up a camera. I'm gonna enlarge this quick. It looks like they just set up a camera quick on a tripod. The audio sounds like it's coming through the camera, which is horrible. You never use on-camera audio. And the storyline was a little lacking, honestly. There was candidates that were a lot better than this girl, so I don't know how she made it to the finals. But I guess they had a specific vision for their interns, and she must have fit the bill. So That one I'm not a fan of. I'm going to go on to the next here. We got Chris, type 2 diabetes. Okay, that must be the name of the beer. So here's a story. A resistance to the hormone insulin resulting in increased blood sugar. Now add the coffee, chocolate, caramel, and marshmallow, and you got diabetes. Angry Chair Brewing in Tampa, Florida, founded in 2014, is infamous for their sweet ABV dessert ales. So insulin resistance is the latest of popular dessert beers following the Awakening German chocolate cupcake stout. That sounds amazing. And No Promises, also known as Beatus. Who named the beer? We all did, says bartender Justin. It's just a joke. Our most popular dessert ales, we have shirts and the back say diabetes. Our beers are pretty darn sweet. Okay, so I'm interested to see the story about this. Let's get right in it.
What's up, World of Beer? It's Craft Beer Chris. I'm here at Angry Chair Brewing in Tampa, Florida. Today is the special release of Insulin Resistance. So I'm going to take this beer home and try it out.
But first off, let me tell you a little bit about where this beer came from.
Okay.
Ryan, Joe, and the Angry Chair team are some of the sweetest guys I know. Don't get me wrong, these guys are mainly men. But us local beer enthusiasts know there's only one place for a good dessert, and that's Angry Chair. Coming from a long line of dessert ales, Insulin Resistance is just another brew from the esteemed Beatus Stouts. Oh, by Beatus, that is diabetes. Angry Chair is known for their sweet, succulent, dark, delicious, slow-pouring, tooth-aching stouts. The name Insulin Resistance? A play on words.
Very cool.
And if you're
bottle,
a regular here or a fan of the
sure.
Beatus like I am, Insulin Resistance is just another good joke of the day. Hey World of Beer, it's Craft Beer Chris. I'm here with my best friend Drew. Drew, this is your first time tasting beer. Cheers.
Wow. This wasn't as bad as I thought. No, this is really good.
All right, well, thank you, World of Beer and Angry Chair. This has been a Craft Beer Chris moment.
That video was even worse than the first one was. Very poorly put together, I must say. And, yeah, again, I don't know. I don't see any characteristics specifically from her shining through in this video. So, again, I question how somebody like that made it onto the second round, or the third round, I should say. Yeah, okay, let's keep going down the list here and see what else we got. We got Cody. He's trying a Ghost Rider IPA. Ghost Rider IPA, what can I say? Definitely my go-to for a nice relaxing drink at the end of the day. The story behind this beer made it all more interesting. What really stuck out was the fact that the brewer dreamt up the recipe. He wanted to make a crushable beer with a nice spice to it and a great hop profile. He ran a few batches and decided it was missing something. The brewer introduced Cordinaire, giving it a lemon spice aspect. This beer, in my opinion, is great for someone looking to start trying IPAs. Everybody out there knows that I am not a fan of any IPAs. There have been some that have been tolerable. I haven't found one yet that I've actually enjoyed and wanted to drink again. But let's see what this guy's story is, and yeah, this is exciting.
Hey guys, this week I decided to go behind the scenes at Wasatch Brewery's R&D facility in beautiful Park City to go deeper into the history of my favorite beers to cook with, as well as my all-time favorite, Ghost Rider IPA. Brewmaster Nils is here to guide us through what separates Ghost Rider.
So there was one thing I noticed about Ghost Rider, kind of aside from the other IPAs I've tasted, is it doesn't have as much of that back kick as the rest of the IPAs. Is that the coriander? Or?
Yeah, the coriander helps dull that. I mean, so this is bittered like an IPA, but it's we also do wheat in this beer, so that really makes it nice and smooth and really drinkable.
Okay.
That helps sweeten it up and just make it really appealing. This is one of the house favorites in terms of what the employees go to for drinking. And then we've molded this recipe over the course of years as we come into new ingredients and new hops, and it's been a really fun beer, and it's a fun beer to make too.
Cool can. Wow. Yeah, that was a little lackluster as well. I want to say this one wasn't as good as the first video I watched on here, but it was definitely better than the second one. Yeah, not too impressed with that either. Ian, farewell Flint. Flint Whistler craned back from the whizzing machine before a bartender gave the thumbs up. A broken glass held the canning process. Shortly after, we were back at it. Flint Brewer at Rockaway Brewing Company continued describing his final brew. We talked about life, love, and mostly beer. Aged in a port bourbon barrel, One for the Road is a multi-amber ode to the journeys that brought him here. A love letter to the malted-minded Rockaway. Flint's farewell party will celebrate nearly 5 years of beautiful brews and maybe just a few shattered pints. It's kind of a cool summary.
Somewhere in New York City, a brewer has a story to tell. Journeying from grain to glass, boil to bar, I'm heading to Queens to discover what makes this beer one for the road.
Hey, World of Beer, I'm Ian, and I'm in Long Island City, Queens at Rockaway Brewing Company to talk about One for the Road, Flint Whistler's final brew at RBC.
I'm Flint Whistler at Rockaway.
He's been at RBC for 4.5 years, during which time he's made everything from hot bombs to earthy stouts. Much like himself, approachable and interesting, Flint's last beer is an amber, blended with a barley wine aged in a port and bourbon barrel. Whew, that's a mouthful.
Oh.
I kind of like the old, slightly working class blue-collar beer and a shot culture.
Having already lent Rockaway a barrel, Brooklyn Small Batch Whiskey got on board for Flint's perfect pairing, complementing the oaky malt backbone of the amber with the smooth finish of a New York State bourbon, which is what makes this the perfect party and the perfect pint for Flint's farewell.
A very quick video. I'm wondering if they gave these people like a minute. I'm betting exactly that. They had to do it under a minute because these videos seem really quick. That one wasn't bad. There's a few shots in there that were pretty cool. Like this one with the time lapse going on in the background, and well, it's kind of like a stop motion, I guess, where the beer is spinning around. Now this shot I think could have been improved a little bit. It's cool. It's interesting. You got the brick building in the background here, and I think they shot it so wide. Like there's so much headroom up here. I think because they wanted to get this sign in here, the Rockaway Brewing Company. Now, they could have made this shot better by getting the camera lower to the ground and shooting at an upward perspective. It would have made Ian here look a little bit larger than life, and then they still could have had this in the background, but it would have been at more of an upward angle. Cool shot, though. So far, nobody's used any sort of on-person audio, lapel microphones and things like that. So I think a lot of these in the production department are quite lacking. But so far, the story on this one I think is the best. We'll keep on going. We got Jennifer, and It's Always Something. Ever feel like Murphy's Law is in full effect? Well, there's a beer to pay tribute to that. Petit Colas created the Belgian strong ale, It's Always Something, to remind us what can go wrong will go wrong. This beer checks at 9% ABV and hits you with flavors such as banana and bubblegum, with a mouthfeel that is sweet and subtle. It was brewed as an anniversary ale, but right before its release, the brewery caught on fire. Luckily, the fire was put out and the beer brewed on. The next time Murphy showed up, soothed the burn with this beer. Banana and bubblegum. I've had a banana beer in the past. Wasn't too good. It was actually a banana bread beer. To me, that sounded awesome because I love banana bread. But I think we actually rated that beer a 2 out of 10. It was not so good. But banana and bubblegum sounds quite interesting. Let's see what Jennifer has to say about this.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Alexander, aka Jennifer the Bearded Lady from DFW, and this is
Michael Finley.
And what do you do here?
I take care of the tap room here at Petit Colas and also special events.
So today I came here to try It's Always Something. And I heard that has a really, really good backstory. Would you tell me a little bit about that backstory?
For sure. So It's Always Something was originally brewed for our 4-year anniversary. Our first 4 years that we were in operation, we had a lot of trials and tribulations. One of the most kind of precedentating things before that beer was released is the front of our building caught on fire. We actually lost 2 delivery vehicles. Rich, who you met at Big Texas Beer Festival, he lost his personal car. We thought that we were going to lose this entire brewery.
That's kind of crazy.
And so that was kind of the genesis of It's Always Something. As you come in to brew every day, you think that it's going to go just fine, nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to go wrong. But we quickly realized that something is going to happen on a daily basis. So it's always something.
Well, thank you so much, and it is always something every day. Cheers.
Cheers.
So she didn't have much to say. He kind of led the conversation there. His story was really good. I liked it. The background of the brewery there was pretty touching. And I can see why the judges went with this girl. She does got a bubbly personality. She's got the looks as well. It's obviously something that plays into her favor there. But on the production standpoint, there wasn't much B-roll in this shot here. And there was obviously a person holding the camera when they were doing the interview here because the camera was kind of shaking around. I didn't really like how that looked. And the shot setup here is not quite that interesting either. Just a few barrels in the background. I think this could have been done a lot more tastefully. But it wasn't terrible, I guess. So we got Kenny, Dancing Gnome, Pittsburgh's Hidden Gem. So the Steel City's best kept secret quietly serves up true to style juicy pale ales. I don't know what it is with people in pale ales, but it seems like a lot of people like those. When we last spoke with Andrew Witchy, founder of Dancing Gnome Brewery in Pittsburgh, he was still several months away from opening. The glass for the windows had arrived, but the counter was missing, as was all the equipment. And it remained to be seen how Sharpsburg, a 4,000-something resident borough, I don't know how to say that word, most famously known as the birthplace of H.J. Heinz Company, would respond to craft. But the brewery, which opened its doors on October 1st, 2016, has been thriving, quickly making a name for itself as one of the region's major producers of juicy pale ales. Although Dancing Gnome is only a few months from opening, they're on track to join Hoof-Hearted, Platform, and Brew Gentleman as the region's best. Recently, we asked Witchy what defined a Dancing Gnome beer. Thoughtfully designed, he said. Always hyper fresh and definitely hop forward. That's how we define out whole brand. We recommended Jam, a semi-year-round IPA brewed with rye or shifting clocks, a dry but flavorful farmhouse pale, paired with visits to nearby Grist House and Dry Lag. A trip to Dancing Gnome makes a Saturday to remember. God, that's a mouthful, that summary there. Okay, so let's hear his story here.
All right, man, there you are.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, you bet.
Which beer is this?
That's Jam.
Jam. What would you say defines a Dancing Gnome beer?
I'd have to say thoughtfully designed, always hyper fresh, and definitely hop forward. That's kind of how we define our whole brand.
Would you sign this beer for me?
Really?
Yeah.
So the focus is off there. It's focused on the background here.
There you go, man.
Thanks.
Ooh, that was pretty rough. yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that summary there either. A little more creative with the text overlays and stuff and the sound effects. I give them credit in that department. But as far as the story on that one, not so well put together. Michaela Omaha Brewing. What do you think when you walk into a brewery? Let's be honest, the majority of us are like, I need beer, mainly because of my beer travels. One of the first things I think while pulling into the parking lot is why. There are a whole lot of reasons, but Doc's was merely because he wanted to create more jobs for his rural county. One of my favorites in their lineups is Doc Dweller, a lightly tart, refreshing Berliner Weiss named after Doc's favorite pastime. My hope is that sometime you get a chance to try this beer on your own Doc, or better yet, to share the story with Doc and check out his little brewery in the country making big beers in a really small town. Summary was a little lackluster there too, but this shot's kind of cool. I like the tasting room sign with the clouds up here, brick, and then they got the beer here in focus. That one's really cool. Let's check out Michaela's story. Now, I did watch her submission video. I think she put it in 2016 as well, but I didn't get a chance to see her new submission video. Let's check this out. You can tell right away that this is shot with an action cam, probably a GoPro.
Also known as Crafty Beer Maven. This is Doc, the world famous Doc. He owns Omaha Brewing Company here in Omaha, Georgia.
Most likely it's a GoPro Hero 4, so I can hear that audio click.
This is Doc. Doc, as you can see, likes to sit on the dock. Talk to you about your beer.
Absolutely. This is a Berliner Weiss, or basically a sour ale. This is one of our favorite beers. It's only a little over 4%. It's awesome in the summertime. They named it after me because I'm a doc, I'm a dentist, so everybody calls me, goes by Doc. And so they wanted to name a beer after me, and I'm sitting on the dock all the time, so they came up with Doc Dweller. This beer is an incredible summer beer, but what we found is they like it all year long. This Berliner Weiss is
So the audio is terrible on this video. Probably the worst so far.
Here in the middle of nowhere, because it's nice and peaceful. It's where those people go to. We go. All of our family goes. This is our happy place. So when we go to our happy place, we drink our Doc Dweller.
It's a cool garage door. So yeah, I like his story behind the beer. Kind of a cool location. I like the Gator logo. That's really sweet. As far as the production value and stuff like that, there's nothing really to be standing out in this. Patrick Landgrant on the power play. So this guy looks like he likes hockey. The Blue Jackets are in the playoffs for the second time in history, and I found the perfect beer to celebrate. Goon. Goon is an American pale ale from the Land-Grant Brewing Company located in Columbus, Ohio. The aggressive yet charming beer emulates the spirit of hockey. It's tough like hard hit on glass, but smooth like ride on Zamboni. It's as if Jack Johnson from the Blue Jackets, not the mellow man musician, threw down his gloves, punched you in the face, and you wear your toothless smile as the badge of honor. I highly recommend it. Kind of a neat little summary there. So this is a hockey theme here.
Hi everyone, Patrick here with World of Beer. I am on my way to Columbus, Ohio to Land-Grant Brewery to try some new beer.
I am Justin Reich from Land-Grant Brewing Company.
Okay, so this guy has
Columbus, Ohio.
better audio right off the bat.
One of the brewers here. All right, we are actually drinking Goon.
So it looks like he
which
has
is
an
our
audio
strong
recorder.
Pale ale. The whole thought behind it is that we wanted to make
Couple
a
of
very
Shure,
aggressive and
Sennheiser maybe, probably Sennheiser microphone.
pale ale A lot of our other IPAs and pales here have been very fruity, very fruit forward. So what better way to make a hockey beer than to have a super aggressively bitter,
Right.
strong pale?
Yeah, it's funny that
tasty.
you mentioned that because this is the first time I've ever had this beer before too, and it just feels like Jack Johnson from the Blue Jackets threw off his gloves and punched me in the face.
Yep.
So the
But
audio's
I'm
great,
happy
the
about it 'cause
video
it
is
tastes
lacking.
Delicious.
Yeah. Well, cheers.
Cheers,
to
sir.
that.
Yeah. Cheers to getting punched in the face by a beer.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a minute as well. I'm pretty sure that World of Beer said these videos have to be under a minute. Now, it's hard to give a good backlining story of a brewery in under 1 minute. So I think that's why a lot of these are just lacking in that kind of department there. But I did like that he ramped it up on the audio a little bit. Sounded good. The visuals were not as great, but he definitely put a lot more effort into that than some of the other guys did. So now here's a couple guys that did a video together, it looks like here. So we got Quentin and Bobby, Startline Brewing, Hop Load IPA. Hop Load. Okay, so every April, 30,000 runners from around the world journey to Massachusetts to participate in the Boston Marathon. This year, the crowds quench their thirst for delicious craft beer at Startline Brewing, a new brewery project located just 6 minutes from the marathon start line in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. As the name suggests, SLB has embraced I can't even say that. Hopkinton's that's funny. Heritage at the beginning of the beloved Boston Marathon, a cultural institution that SLB celebrates with their seasonal marathon wheat ale, 5.5%. SLB's partnership with Freshwater Farm and their commitment to farm-to-table brewing make them a single-roof operation and unique landmark in Hopkinton's social and architectural landscape. The artful scientists at SLB grow their own hops in a highly controlled, resource-conscious, and disease-free environment using an elaborate on-site hypodonic hop system. This carefully cultivation process yields spectacularly fresh and deliciously rich beer experiences and is the kind of precision botany that ensures a constant and reproductive flavor in every batch. The flagship beer of SLB and the Hop Load IPA is a full-bodied American-style IPA. Hop Load balances a powerfully earthy and piney bitter punch with juicy grapefruit that finish the laced with notes of tangerine and papaya. The hops are the true start of this beer and speak to freshness and water purity provided by the hydroponic process that distinguishes the brewery. At 7.1% ABV, the rich flavor, the Hop Load, is true and robust expression of American IPA. Can be enjoyed with any meal or as encouraged by co-owner and brewery Jeff Telbach. Just having fun with your friends and cheering on this year's runners. Just remember to pace yourselves. Okay, so let's see what their story is all about here.
Hey, World of Beer! I'm Bobby. And I'm Quentin. And welcome to Hopkinton, Mass., the starting line of the Boston
Nice
Marathon and home to
off-camera audio down there.
Startline Brewing Company. There's no better way to kick off Marathon Weekend than with a craft beer drawn straight out of this hollowed ground. Now, we got an inside
So these
man
guys
today,
definitely
Jeffrey,
have
and he is the
personality.
co-owner and brewer here at Startline Brewing Company. And he is going to be telling us about their flagship beer, the Hop Load IPA, and its ingredients, which are hydroponically grown right here on site. What ingredients, you say? What does hydroponic mean? What's a marathon? Our man Jeffrey's got the answers. Let's go. Jeffrey. Yeah. So I want you to tell us a little bit about your flagship beer here, the Hop Load IPA. First, just what goes into making this beer and what it is.
So we are a hop-forward group of guys and gals. And what that means is you're going to get a very clean taste that is representative of the hop profile. We're using mosaic hops primarily within this, which are grown hydroponically just about 10 yards from here.
I'm here in front of the hydroponic growing house. It's really awesome. I can't hear anything.
The water is unbelievable. The water table is such that we don't do anything to it. We take it out of the ground and we put it into the beer, which a lot of people have to do a whole lot to adjust for that. We don't do anything. It's just water. We're doing nothing in terms of additives. We are going to give you a straightforward American IPA. This is a beer to be enjoyed with friends. It has a high ABV. You're going to want to have friends around with it. You don't want to watch a hockey game. You won't get to the third period.
What for you is the perfect IPA?
Enjoyability from beginning to end. And a real distinct flavor profile all the way through. Does it have a beginning? Does it have a middle? Does it end well? Do you want to take that next step? I used to be that typical Scotch bourbon guy, and then got tired of it. So we started looking into craft beers and found things we loved and thought, wouldn't it be great if we could make them ourselves, challenge ourselves. There are unbelievable beers out there. And to be in the same arena with these guys, it's gravy.
If you were a beer style, what beer style would you be?
I'd be a sour.
A sour?
Yeah, I'm really interested in cooking, and the sours pair up really nice in terms of breaking courses down, so I think it's genius.
Okay, so their video is a little more, well, theirs was 2 minutes. Huh. But theirs was put together a lot better. Their personality really shined through, especially at the start there. They were just having a good time. And I can see why they would have made it to the last round there. Good luck for you guys. Okay, we got Rachel. More cowbell. Now, Rachel was one of the ones who competed with us in St. Paul. Yeah, she had a lot of personality, very bubbly personality, which I understand how she made it to the last round as well. So, Urban Growler Brewing Company is a community staple full of smiling faces, local flair, and of course, delicious beer. I met with Master Brew, Deb, to learn more about the Cowbell's Cream Ale, a flagship favorite. Its list of ingredients include Pilsner, pale malts, and corn, which gives a fuller flavor. A great beer with a golden shine that will leave you wanting more. The Cowbell Cream Ale gets its name from two places: the brewery's close proximity to the State Fair, which is a big deal for all Minnesotans, and the classic Saturday Night Live sketch. After all, if you have a fever, the only prescription is more Cowbell Cream Ale. All right, let's take a watch at this.
Hi, I'm Rachel, future World of Beer drinking intern. We're here at Urban Growler Brewing Company in St. Paul, Minnesota, the first women-owned and operated brewery in the state. We're here to check out the Cowbell Cream Ale, which I recently discovered on my first trip to their tap room.
Hi, I'm Deb Locke. I'm co-owner and master brewer here.
So the audio is only the left channel there.
In St. Paul, Minnesota. My sister actually started this. She said she didn't like beer. Like, you
These
just
shots are
have to
very amateurly
worked
done.
on this Cowbell Cream Ale recipe, and it's light in color, but still has a lot of flavor. So it's very approachable. So folks that
Probably
especially
shot
don't
on a
like
cell
craft beer
phone.
or are intimidated by
The
that
quality is
word,
really terrible.
This is what I call a transition beer, way to get them into craft beer, because we know.
Oh, but the audio is only in the left channel, which is kind of weird. They must have did that in editing.
You run out of beer, all you need to yell is, more cowbell.
I can hardly hear you. So she definitely has that personality that shines through. That's exactly why they chose her. Her semifinal interview was actually quite good. She definitely knows how to public speak and is not afraid of being in front of a ton of people. So in that department, she's really great, but in the video standpoint, not so good. Rob, what is this? Miskatonic Brew and the Gardener. Miskatonic. Okay, that's how you say that. Rob, Miskatonic Brew and the Gardener. It's 12:34 on a Saturday, and I'm enjoying a Belgian-style wit at Miskatonic Brewery. The wit, known as the Gardener, is a fresh seasonal beer with citrus flavors and blended with a lemon peel, lavender, and vanilla. The brewery is quietly tucked away in an industrial park in Darien. Is that Darien or Darren? One of those two. Illinois. Miskatonic is a relatively new brewery ran by folks who spent years in the brewing industry. Chatting with co-founder Josh Marowi, it's clear he loves what he does. I compliment the wit, and Josh replies with an earnest "Thanks, man." I feel like I'm going to hear "Thanks, man" a lot today. So this guy was another one who was in the semifinals with us, and this guy was really good at speaking as well. Let's take a look at his story.
So this week, I went to Miskatonic Brewery, fell in love with a girl known as the Gardener. And yes, she's Belgian. I also got to chat with Josh, one of the co-founders. We got to chat about the origins, and we also got to talk about the Gardener and what goes in it and makes it such an awesome
Composition
beer.
on that
Also, I
shot
almost
is
managed to
really
stay in
great.
frame for the entire video,
I
so,
love the beer in the
good, I think.
background. Good headroom on that shot. Nice job.
So I am here with Josh Mowry, co-founder of Miskatonic Brewery out of beautiful and exotic area in Illinois. How you doing today, Josh?
Doing all right.
Awesome, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about your awesome brewery you have here, its inception, its backstory.
Sure, absolutely. We are almost 2 years old here now. We'll be 2 in July of this year.
Tripod
but
shots.
Even though we're that young of a brewery, my partner and I have about almost 20 years of experience between the two of us in the Chicagoland brewing industry. The one that's currently our spring seasonal is called the Gardener. It's a Belgian style wit. And you know, Belgian style wit, that's a style that uses coriander and orange peel as botanicals that are in traditionally that style. We wanted to pull those out.
So this sounds like on-camera audio as well. It's really, really echoey. Very staticky. So there's him with his picture of his guitar. He brought that to the semifinals. It's got the beer on there with the hose that runs up for drinking. I'm sure he doesn't drink out of that. It's just for aesthetic appeal pretty much when he's playing on stage. But yeah, so far the shots were the most professional with this guy. This guy, I think he said he was a photographer and a videographer as well. So we got Ryan, Alpha Ox IPA. God, everybody's having IPAs. What's the deal? On my 21st birthday, my family took me on a tour of breweries around Ashburn, Virginia. All the crafts were sampled that day. The Alpha Ox from Old Ox Brewery solidified my love of IPAs. Chris Burns, owner of the Old Ox, believes that the Alpha Ox has a drinkability that rises above the other ales. The ABV of 4.5% allows for a hoppy but smooth finish and can be consumed in large quantities. The Alpha Ox is fantastic at curing hangovers, not that I would know from experience. For me, the Alpha Ox sets the bar for exemplary IPAs. Okay, so we got Ryan here with the Alpha Ox IPA.
Here we are at Black Hops Farms, a new hop processing facility in Luckett's, Virginia. Whether you're drinking a Sam Adams or a Fat Tire, most beers begin with a critical component of hops, such as one of my personal favorites, the Alpha Ox IPA from Old Ox Brewery in Ashburn, Virginia.
Editing
It's one of the few
stabilization
beers
is
that made
terrible
it
on
to
those
the
shots.
big leagues, if you will, from our old homebrewing days when my dad and I were homebrewing together. But what I really enjoy about this beer is that you get a lot of great hop character, a lot
Great
of great
audio,
hop
though.
aroma, but it isn't overly bitter. We do most of the hop additions in the very late phase of the brewing cycle, which gives us all the nice aromatics without much of the bitterness. So it's not going to wreck your palate. You can have 2 and still taste just as much on sip 40 as you did on sip 1.
Okay. That one wasn't bad. The shots were fairly decent. I didn't like that stabilization effect that was applied to a couple of those shots there. I think he should have just left that as is, shot from the camera. It would have been a lot better. But yeah, props to this. This guy's story was pretty good. Okay, Taylor, Ventura Coast Brewing Company. Those are kind of some neat shots there. Ventura Coast Brewing Company, located in the historic downtown district of her hometown, Ventura, California. This young brewery opened only 6 months ago with my good friend Kyle Thiel at the helm. This brewery has 10 main brews, always on tap, speckled in a special barrel for holidays and weekends. Trial and error was his strategy from day one, so I was ready to taste the blood, sweat, and tears of his labor. I'm a big fan of porters, and VBC's is nutty and dark, but still somehow light, making it refreshing choice as well as complex. The blonde was crisp, smooth, and approachable. If I were to meet someone who has never tried a beer before, I would put VBC's blonde in their hand. Okay.
What's up, guys? It's Taylor here, and today we're in my hometown of Ventura, California.
Nice glide cam
and we're checking
shot
out the
there.
Ventura Coast Brewery. It's the new guy on the block, just opened last year. And bonus points, I graduated high school with the owner, so free beer.
Ha! Funny.
Cheers, Kyle.
Cheers. How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for having me.
This shot's
What
set up
first got
nicely
you
here.
into brewing? Why do you have this passion
They
for
kept
beer?
the 180-degree rule working.
Brewing classes counted for G's. Like,
That's
I
awesome.
could brew, like, and it counts for my English credit, basically.
That's awesome.
Ended up just brewing.
The camera is switching way too much, though.
In your
It's
dorm
very
room.
distracting.
This is the porter, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
digging
that's
this
our notes.
porter right now. If this beer could talk and describe itself, how would it describe itself?
Delicious. I have no idea. Like, that's probably the weirdest question.
I'm a huge fan of dark beers, and that
Unoffensive.
looks great.
Unoffensive, okay. That's how I like my relationships, unoffensive. Ventura Coast Brewing Company, maybe the new kid on the block, but they're packing some serious passion and flavor into their brews. It's good stuff.
So that's 1 minute exactly. So yeah, it must be, not bad. Some of the shots in there were quite nice. I do like the interview shots there. And she did have see in the shots here audio, off-camera audio, which made that shot a lot better. So props to her. I think that's a strong video. Trina Joe, the noblest of cocks. Cocks! Okay, so an annual beer collaboration between Four Corners Brewing Company and Noble Rape Brewing surprises Dallas's taste buds yet again with a new beer, Cherry Pie Sour Ale. The breweries brought back their second interpretation of the sweet and strong Belgian quad, Noble Cock, and gave it a dueling partner. The sour ale is not only the right amount of tart and juicy, but actually blends extraordinarily well with the Belgian quad. When blended together, a sweet and sharp taste fills my mouth and reminds me of Texas, beloved Dr. Pepper. It's kind of a cool picture there, too. Noble Cock. All right, let's watch this story.
Now, here's a little story I got to tell about two Dallas breweries you know so well. It started way back with one meeting between brewmasters Tom Meat and Zach P.
Hey guys, my name is TJ, and I'm going to be talking today about the Noble Cock. What originally started out as a collaboration of one beer in 2016 is now a collaboration of two beers, a Belgian quad and a cherry pie sour ale.
So this beer is a Belgian quad. What it is a very malty beer.
Focus is
We
off
use
there.
Belgian candied sugar in it along with orange blossom honey. It goes great with the cherry sour. It matches well with the malt profile.
I wanted to do something polar
Ooh,
opposite.
that audio is rough.
And something I felt was funky and fun that Four Corners would be proud to put their name on as well.
With the cherry sour, you're going to get those same kind of malt flavors out of it. You also get tartness because it is a sour beer. Whereas this one, it's going to marry well with those two together. They're going to be very tasty together if you taste them back to back.
And that's the Noble Cock. Cheers.
Ugh, I did not like that video whatsoever. Nope. Okay, Cali Q. Cue it with Gruit. Gruit is an old-fashioned herb mixture for flavoring and bittering beer, depending on the desired taste and effect. Despite an 8,000-year head start over hops, most never heard of the Gruit, and it's rarely used today. So why did hops overtake Gruit? According to the legend, the Protestant church began a campaign against Gruit, calling it a drug. Some herbs were narcotic and sexual stimulants, making certain ingredients illegal. Whether Protestants were concerned about morality or just wanted to get rid of the competition, regardless, hops became the key player. The lesser-known Gruits is worth a try if you can find it. Okay.
Hey, it's Callie Q, and we're queuing the brew here in Fort Smith, New Hampshire, and we're getting ready to go check out some Gruit ales. Gruit is German for herb. And these Gruit ales use herbs instead of hops for bittering and flavoring. In the 11th to 16th century, hops took over and Gruits became a thing of the past. But we found a place here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire that still makes Gruit ales. Welcome to Earth Eagle Brewings.
Gruit's just another style of beer, just brewed more frequently up until about the 1600s. People brewed with whatever local herbs they had to bitter the wort.
I like the little words at the bottom of the screen there. It adds a nice. This shot is very nicely done.
Of that nature.
I went with the Rough Rider Double Barrel Aged Sour Rye Triple Gruit. Say that 5 times fast. And I paired it with a sweet and sour
GoPro
pork
shot.
belly LT. So I'm going to enjoy this food, and I hope to see you soon.
It's cool with the social icons. Actually, that video was well put together. And good looking female, so that also plays into her favor there. Yeah, not bad. There was a couple shots that the focus pull was a little off. Other than that, I'd say that's probably a top contender there. So yeah, I think these two guys did a really fantastic job. They got really good personality, very bubbly, outgoing. Callie did a great job here. Taylor's video wasn't too bad. Let's see, what other ones were good? Ian's wasn't too terrible, aside from some of the shot placements. But all these people really had their own camera guy. That was one thing that I didn't understand about going into this World of Beer competition was, they said they were going to pay you $12,000, and that was per yourself, so $12,000 per person going, but they didn't say anything that you could bring a camera guy. So I don't know if these people are just having their friends come along and they're paying their friends to do the camera part of the deal. That was that. I just kind of wanted to go over those videos because, it's kind of exciting to see who actually made it to the finals. Will we try again next year? Maybe. We'll see. We definitely have to come up with a great bar trick if we do, because it seems like the people that made it to the finals had something really fun to do while they were there. The one guy brought his guitar in, which was kind of cool. And the other chick, she just had all of her friends there. Her friends were screaming for her. But it was fun either way. We had a great time. So yeah, those are the finalists. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Who's your favorite contestant there? And yeah, best of luck to these guys. Looking forward to seeing their stories. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.